Space Debris, a short documentary on the craft that orbits the Earth.
Yeah.
On Earth, garbage is a huge problem. We dump it, we move it, we recycle it, and incinerate it. It's like we don't know what to do with it. But the problem is not only limited to the ground. Currently, there is a similar problem orbiting the Earth. This is called space debris, orbital debris. Space junk, artificial rubbish, or simply flying pieces of shit. Space debris consists of any man-made object that is considered of no further use, such as defunct satellites, old spacecrafts, burnt-out stage launches, leaked fuel, paint chips, and anything that accidentally fell off a spaceship. Currently, there are millions of individual pieces orbiting the Earth, with about 500,000 traceable objects being between 1 to 10 centimeters in length and width, and around 19,000 being over 10 centimeters in length and width. Most are orbiting around 2,000 to 800 kilometers above the Earth's surface, and can remain in orbit for a few years or 100 years, depending on how far up their orbit is. Most are traveling about 36,000 kilometers per hour, which means if an object the size of a pea were to hit someone, it would hit with the same force as a 400-pound safe traveling at 60 miles per hour. The presence of orbital rubbish was first made known in 1946 by Helmut Landsberg when he studied the Giacometti meteor shower. Later, a Mr. Fred Whipple took the study and wrote a paper about what he called micrometeorites, which are small magnetic particles falling to the atmosphere. These discoveries not only aided in finding the origins of the solar system, but also the space race with the invention of the Whipple shield, which is still used on many of today's spacecrafts to deflect small debris. But back in those days, the definition of spacecraft was asteroids and particles left behind by comets which sometimes fell to Earth, and sometimes caused mass extinction. But the past 50 years of space flight and exploration, like Mir, the Hubble, the International Space Station, and a host of other communications satellites, has changed the definition to mean anything that was put up into space and left up there, both intentionally and unintentionally. And already, the skies are getting rather crowded. The rising number of dwarfs floating around the Earth caught the attention of Donald J. Kessler, who had been studying the asteroid belt and the effects of ablation cascade. Ablation cascade refers to the phenomenon that any large object will eventually be on a collision course for another object, and the fragments from the collision will in turn make other collisions, which will create more collisions, and so on. He applied the same theory to the junk orbiting the Earth in a report in 1991, which is referred to as the Kessler syndrome. This created a new scenario for the future of space travel. If the amount of fragments reached a certain amount, it could render any space exploration around the Earth impossible. And worse, every object launched into space creates a possibility for creating more waste. This was reconfirmed in February of 2009, when an American communications satellite accidentally collided with a non-functioning Russian satellite, sending shrapnel in all directions and endangering other operational satellites also in orbit. To mitigate this problem, various organizations like the NASA Orbital Debris Program and the Aerospace Center for Orbital and Re-Entry Debris Studies have created to raise awareness and provide solutions to avoid similar situations by reducing the amount of clutter left in orbit. Although there is not an international treaty for the proper disposal of spacecraft, many agencies and governments have placed guidelines on the construction of self-removal systems. So at the end of its life, a decommissioned satellite would be able to steer itself into re-entry of the atmosphere, or into what's known as the graveyard orbit above other operating satellites. Other plans have been proposed to get rid of pre-existing residue, such as a powerful laser that would shoot the fragments down from the sky, or a remotely controlled ship that would collect it and return it back to Earth for disposal. But for now, all we can do is study, keep track of what's in the sky, and do our best not to add to it. Perhaps in the future there will be space garbage programs for keeping our skies clean for exploration. The end.